welcome back to the Viking Central Postgame Show. I'm your host, Steve Hoikla. And hey, we think we saw what we wanted to see today from JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. We get a win over the Washington Commanders, 31-0. So we come off of a shutout, and we get a shutout against a team. I think what we wanted to see today was growth from JJ McCarthy, and I think we were able to see that, and we'll dive into that a little bit. If you're following us on X or YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you go ahead and send us questions and comments that you have for today's game. I'll go ahead and try to answer those best I can. And then I also want to make sure that I thank our sponsors. That's Badass Woodart. Go ahead and use our code VC15 to receive 15% off. And then also SeatGeek. SeatGeek, when you use SeatGeek and code VikeCentral, you get $20 off any $50 more purchase. That's good for any Vikings game, concerts, events that you want to go to. And then, of course, Homage. If you go ahead and check out homage.sjv.io/Vikings, it's on the top of our banner. That's one of the ways that you can support us. They have great clothing and things that you can check out from them. Go ahead and check out Homage. Christmas is coming up soon, so make sure that you go out and get maybe some Vikings gear for a loved one or yourself. And same thing with that's Badass Woodart, which will have our Badass Player of the Game. That's also sponsored by them as well, too. So fabulous artwork by Luis at That's Badass Woodart. All right, so when we dive into this game, 31-0, and again, if you have questions and comments, go ahead and put them in, and I'll bring them up on the screen. We'll answer them. We got to be feeling at least good for the fact that we saw positivity and growth in JJ McCarthy. Now, we saw some haters today to where, they were quiet, but they wanted to come out late and talk about JJ McCarthy's performance and that it means nothing. They're not impressed. This isn't about wowing you with numbers. This is about, playing the game and showing growth in these last 5 and now 4 games left. And JJ McCarthy showed us, and whether it was simplifying or playing free that KOC wanted him to do, so he played his game. I like what I saw. What we saw from JJ McCarthy was 16 for 23, 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also led in extended drives and made big plays to extend drives in positions to get us down in the red zone for our rushing touchdown from Jordan Mason as well. We've been asking all year for KOC to run the ball. And when we were 3rd and short, I actually begged on Twitter. I was like, all right, 3rd and short, now KOC, run the ball. And we did. And bouncing off to the left side was Jordan Mason. He scampers into the end zone, gets his touchdown. Now, like I said, 163 yards passing from JJ McCarthy, no interceptions. Didn't turn the ball over, and we had 0 turnovers all day. That's fantastic. We won the turnover battle today, but we were balanced. We've been asking for it. 163 yards passing, 162 yards rushing. That's a balanced offense, guys. And if, when the game's coming to you and you're up by a lot, like we were in this game, we're not exactly asking JJ McCarthy to throw for 300 plus yards. You're wanting to manage time of possession and manage the clock and burn the clock. That's the smart thing to do in that position. If you're behind, you're having to throw a lot in the game if it's a track race or you're trying to play catch up. And JJ McCarthy throwing 40 times a game, that's probably not. That means that we're either playing really bad defense or we've made a lot of mistakes on offense if he's having to throw the ball that many times. So he did what he needed to do. His accuracy was much better in this game. He had a 129.2 rating in this game. He played solid. He made good decisions. He protected the football. There's not a whole lot more that you can ask from JJ McCarthy from what he showed you today. Yes, do we want to see him connect on some big passes? He almost did. He almost did with a big shot to Justin Jefferson in the end zone on a one-on-one play, which, you throw that to Justin Jefferson every time. And, he probably comes down with that ball 7, 8 times out of 10. He's going to go and get that. And he almost made a great play in the end zone. But I like the way that J.J. McCarthy played today. I'm cautiously optimistic. But again, he's got to show us in these last 4 games that he can be consistent in this type and level of play. So if we can see that from J.J. McCarthy, I think that helps the front office and coaching staff as far as what type of player needs to be brought in the offseason. Do we need to go get, somebody to run this offense and run the team, or is JJ capable of doing that? So again, I would like to see JJ put up more yards, sure, but that's not what the game called for. That's not how the game went. We were balanced today. We were able to run the ball. We were effective in running the ball. Like I said, 162 yards on the ground. We ran 4.8 yards. That was our average. That's good, guys. So we didn't need to throw the ball a lot. And we still threw it 23 times. He made big throws when he needed to, and I thought he did a great job. He really did. So, can we see that continue next week? That'll be the important question. On the defensive side of the ball, fantastic, guys. Just fantastic. You can't say, enough about the defense. They've been trying to keep us in games. Our offense wasn't pulling their weight. Well, this week, it was the other way around, to where I shouldn't say the other way around. The defense still did their job, but they did a great job. They took away the ball. They gave us takeaways. Our offense protected the ball, and our defense was able to show what they can do, especially when we get up or get a lead and they can pin their ears back a little bit. So Jaden Daniels, he was 9 of 20 for 78 yards and an interception. Marcus Mariota comes in for him. He's 2 for 4 for 30 yards. He throws a pick. We held them in the running game. They did have some success in the running game, but the bend don't break. When they got into 4th down type conversion scenarios and they tried to convert, our defense came up with plays, and they were huge all day. And not to mention, we also got a fumble off Marcus Mariota as well. So we had 3 turnovers today, winning the battle. That's winning football. So not only did we see what we wanted to see from J.J. McCarthy, we also saw some we wanted to see from the defense, and that was taking away the ball. So they have been playing, that bend don't break type defense, and today they added in those turnovers. And with, Jaden Daniels can run. Jaden Daniels can run. He absolutely can. And, so he ran 4 times for 16 yards. He was slippery in the backfield where we had different opportunities at sacks that we probably could have had a couple more. We still had 2 sacks on the day, but, and that was from Jalen Redmond and Eric Wilson, who were constantly in the backfield. Jalen had 2 tackles for loss. Eric had 1 as well. So good games. We talk about the defensive play. Harrison Smith, it was great to see him get an interception. I mean, that guy has just had an amazing career. Should be a Hall of Famer. But you look at Andrew Van Ginkel. Offenses have not figured out that when he's on that side of the ball that you're trying to throw a screen to, don't do it. So we almost got a gang 6. Terry McLaurin, I believe it was, that ran him down. Otherwise, he's in for a score. But what a pick, right? Another, pop up. He bats it up in the air to himself, catches it, takes off running, almost, takes it all the way in. That was fantastic to see. I think we've been waiting for one of those Van Ginkel today. So a lot of good stuff in the football game, a lot of stuff to look forward in the next 4 games. Again, tougher teams coming up. So can we replicate, maybe not, we're not going to replicate a 31-0 victory, but can we replicate some of that success that we had on the offensive side of the ball? Can we still continue to protect the ball and have success in the red zone? And that was good to see today too. 4 touchdowns. We had 1 field goal from Will Reichard. I mean, he's still clutch. I mean, it was close, but Will Reichard was really good today. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of negatives when you win 31-0. Yeah, I mean, I would say JJ McCarthy. If I had to give him a grade today, I give you an A minus for sure. Just because that's what the game called for. Um, hey, if he would have thrown for 200 plus yards, 250 yards, that would have been great. If you're looking at the numbers, but if you look at the game and how it went in the balanced offense, he didn't make mistakes. He made some big throws in that game. So if you look at just the numbers, yeah, does it look as flashy? No. But if you watch the game and take the numbers out of it, he played a really good game. So I'd like to see him carry that on into next week. So that's really the big bulk of things that I have for you today. I thought it was a stellar job by the defense, and it's hard, if I take a look at, who I would, maybe, you know, give a player the game to, but I got to give it to JJ McCarthy, man. We've been lacking quarterback play. He's the meme of the year, if you will, when it comes to the NFL. People are dogging on him. He's in a stress position to where he's got to come out and have a big game, and he does. He throws 3 touchdowns passing, doesn't make any mistakes on the field, and he did what we want to see, which is growth from a young quarterback. So, not sold, cautiously optimistic. Okay, so we'll see what he can do next week and continue to stay healthy. And the GM, the coach, they're going to have some decisions to make at the end of the year based upon how these next 4 games go. So can we be consistent in that? Was what we saw today what could be? Was that just a flash? So consistency is what we need to see at the position. So. With that, I mean, that's really the post game that I have for you guys. It was a blowout. We absolutely stomped the Washington Commanders, which is something we want to see at home. Now, yes, we're not going to have a top 10 draft pick after we're now 5-8. We get that 5th win. I haven't checked exactly where we're at, but we're probably picking in the low mid-teens now at this point. I'm okay with that. Would I like to be picking top 10? Sure, absolutely. But if you gave me the option, would I would like to have my cake and eat it too, to see good play from JJ McCarthy and, seeing glimpses where we possibly have the guy and we get a top 10 pick. Yeah, that would be great. But that's not exactly how it's possibly going to work out. But, I'd rather see that we have good quarterback play or growth from JJ McCarthy and we end up picking in the teens, then just a tragedy over the last 4 games now. I'd rather see that we had improvement and that, hey, we possibly have the answer at quarterback rather than what we have seen. And, it'd be a dumpster fire for Vikings fans and social media and, be, everyone's meme in the NFL. I'd rather that not be the case. So hoping to see more consistent play. I'm okay picking in the teens and adding to this team and filling holes. And hopefully we have the guy. I still expect this team to bring in a quarterback. It's just at what level are we bringing in? Are we bringing someone in to start because we think JJ can't be the guy? We're bringing in someone so JJ sits a year until he's ready. I don't think that we're drafting a quarterback. I don't think that it's going to be allowed for Kwesi to draft another quarterback. And depending on how these 4 games, he's still on the hot seat. So we'll see how it goes. That's really all I want to say about that. It's a good day. Okay. I feel good. You can say, shucks, we didn't get our cake and eat it too. And we're not closer to a top 10 pick. I'm really happy to see that he had solid quarterback play today. So that's all I can tell you. I mean, if you still want to be negative and be down on JJ, I mean, that's on you. I want to see whoever's at quarterback succeed, whether that's JJ McCarthy, whether that's Max Brosmer, whether that's, someone else that we bring into the fold to play for the Minnesota Vikings. I want to see our team in purple win, succeed, eventually, maybe win a Super Bowl. So what that means is being happy when we do well. And being frustrated just like you guys when we're not playing well. So that's really all I have for you. So I have Vikings Gallerhorn, who's going to be joining me for the Vikings pregame show next week. So that's going to be next Saturday at 9 p.m. And again, we're going to be streaming on YouTube and X. So make sure that you are following us on YouTube, X, Facebook. Make sure you follow us on TikTok and read our Substack. Had a great article out for this week's game. And, I'll make sure that I have a really good one following up this game into next. And for Viking Central, I'm Steve, and Skol Vikings, and go JJ McCarthy. Continue this, and hopefully we can have more Sundays where we enjoy our day and it's not ruined because we're sitting in despair. So we're definitely not out of the ashes per se, but we saw glimmers of hope today, and we saw success, and we should be happy that we got a victory today. So that's what I would say to Vikings fans. So if you're a tanker and you wanted us to tank and not win today, I got news for you. Tanking doesn't necessarily help us either. Yes, it gives us a better draft pick, but again, if you don't have the right guy at quarterback and you don't grow your quarterback, do you have a team? So hopefully JJ can keep improving. And so if he is passing for touchdowns and growing as a player, I think that's a good thing for Vikings Nation. So, all right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend and the rest of your Sunday. Skol Vikings. Have a great day.